So the Action Network did a survey. They asked 65 athletic directors from the Power Five. Well, I guess they went outside of the Power Five too. But they asked 65 ADs how many of them would consider hiring Urban Meyer for next season if he were available. Rob, 73% said no. And 85% of the Power 5 ADs said no. Some of the comments are really strong. Here's one. Are you blanking me? So are you kidding me? He has a mental problem. How does a guy that makes $10 million a year go to a bar and put his hand up a woman's crotch?
Wow.
Another Power 5 AD said, there are just too many uncertainties surrounding him. No way. Well, these are separate comments from other ADs. No way. Not in a million years. Here's another one. I can't imagine anyone hires him at this stage. He's clearly shown he can't handle these big jobs. Finally, Rob, if I was someplace else, I wouldn't rule it out. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think Urban Meyer is unhireable at this point. And even if he thought maybe, Chris, he was going to, bow out in Jacksonville and go to USC, live in Southern California, beautiful LA, beautiful facility and a historic program and all the great players who have played at USC and all the other stuff and turn it into a winner. The problem is they've had too many scandals. And he doesn't come with just this. He harbored a co-coach, Chris, who was abusing his wife. And the woman told Urban's wife, and he acted like he didn't know anything about it. There's other things that have come. Look at the decision-making. Chris Doyle. You might get away with that in college where you go unchecked, but that was another bad decision. I think at this point, to put him on a college campus with co-eds after you just saw what went down, Chris, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for there to be some sort of, can you imagine if something happens with a co-ed at the new college that he goes to? They'll say, look at the videotape. You hired this guy. He's married and he's groping a woman at the bar.
As far as I know, other than this video, like I get that that's, other than this video. But there have never been allegations of him messing around with co-eds or anything.
No,
like that,
but
right?
but I'm just saying, given what they've seen, USC and some of these schools can't afford to do it. Chris, it's not like this is the first time he stepped out of line and you're not going to jump on the guy the first time. He's had some other stuff. There are people who think he's a slime ball. That's not my word. I've heard that from a number of people who think he's slimy. And this is the problem that you have.
All right.
This is why these ADs are saying that they can't, that they wouldn't hire him, because it's not just this one incident.
Let me start off with this. And you know me, Rob. I totally disagree with what Urban Meyer was doing last weekend, right? It's terrible. He going to have to deal with that with his wife. No doubt it was wrong. I disagree with the way he handled Zach. Was it Zach Smith, his assistant coach, who was abusing his wife, all that. So I'm not riding for Urban Meyer's behavior at all. But Rob Parker, I think these ADs are full of hot air. And I certainly don't think he's unhireable. Because I think we live in a society where at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line. I would love to go back to an era, back to a day where we expected more from our leaders, where we did hold people to a higher standard, right? If you're a politician, if you're the leader of a university, of a football team where you're leading young men, we expected your behavior to be at a certain level. Those days are past, man.
Can I say one thing? I don't want to interrupt your flow. One thing. Politicians who are elected by the people are different from people who work for other people. It's not. It's apples and
How?
oranges. It's apples and oranges. It's
How?
just one is they're elected. They weren't hired by a higher authority, and a football coach is hired by the administration, and it reflects on them. And they have
Right.
to oversee the university. That's why Trump was elected. People didn't like it, but he was elected. And the people spoke, and they voted for him, and he won the election, and he beat Hillary or whatever. He's the president, whether you like it or not, or whether or not you like it in his life. It's different.
I
It's just
hear
different.
you. It's not different because they both reflect on other people. If we choose to put somebody in office that has these moral issues and these moral failures and these egregious moral failures, then yeah, he wasn't hired by somebody, but it still reflects on the people that voted for him and put him in office. There was a time, remember Gary Hart? I think 1988 it was. He was the leading candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination. And he got caught with a mistress and he was done. So there was a time when politicians were held to a higher standard. Now, they might have been bugging behind the scenes. We know a lot of them were. But in the public eye, you couldn't do that stuff. And now it's all open, man. And so I don't like what Urban Meyer was doing. And like I said, I'd love to go back to a day and age where we held people to a higher standard. But it ain't there no more. And if Urban Meyer can help a university win, just look around you, man. If Urban Meyer can help a university win football games, that's all they care about. As long as it ain't ridiculous. And I'm not saying you like him to be out at bars with younger women and stuff. I'm just saying you don't want that stuff happening. But I'm saying I don't think it makes him unhireable.
I disagree. On the college level, I think that there's a certain standard in where we are now that's unacceptable, and that you can't. It's a bad look, Chris. It's different if there's rumors that he plays around. When you start seeing videotape, it changes everything. It ain't I don't know what really went on at the bar. Maybe the woman brushed up against him. When you saw Ray Rice and you heard Donald Sterling and you see Urban Meyer in action, it gives you can't unsee that. And as a college president hiring somebody, they're going to say, I can't hire that guy. As soon as we have the press conference, you know what they're going to say? Did you see when he was fooling around at the bar when his wife was home watching the grandkids? You hired that guy to come onto a college campus? Are you concerned about the safety of young women on campus with this man roaming around?
Safety of young women? Don't you think that's a little overboard, Rob
No,
Parker?
I'm just talking about...
He wasn't molesting the girl.
No, but I'm just saying. I mean that could be a question
Rick Pitino's
about what's
hired.
going on.
Rick Pitino got hired.
And it was and they made a big stink about it. I know he shouldn't be working.
Yeah, but he's still coaching.
He shouldn't be working.
Well,
but he got fired finally.
It ain't about shoulda, because I'm with you. It ain't about shoulda or shouldn't. Should. It's about could he get hired. We got a prime example in Rick Pitino, not to mention many others. So I think it comes down to wins or losses. Unfortunately, that's above character for a lot of people.